Welcome to a chapter of my life with Mr. Paul Ryder from RPG Promotions. How are you, mate?
I'm good, chap. I'm good.
Now, we've got you in here because we have done a podcast before,
let's not talk about that.
And it didn't record. I don't know how.
Is this recording?
This is recording. We've got Chris on the button, so
That's
it's good. Do you know what? I was working away in Harborne today, and there was a load of gasworks, and on the floor it had got RPG.
We get about it, don't we?
And I thought, what brilliant advertising for you. How much did you pay British Gas to do that? Hey?
Yeah, get about it, mate.
Before we talk about your events, your promotions, etc., let's wander back in time, because this is a chapter of your life, but your life began 40 years ago, something like that. Was you born in Kingshurst?
I was, yeah. I was born in Kingshurst, went to Yorkswood School. I weren't there long, 6 months, and then I moved up to Castlebrom. Mm-hmm. Parents still live there now. And then I went to Burton's Farm School. Loved football, loved playing. Weren't the best. I was all right. I had an engine I could run. Mm-hmm. I was brought up in and around Kingshurst, Chelmswood, Castlebrom. They're the areas I've always known. I've never been anywhere else. My dad's side of the family are all from Telford, Shrewsbury. Okay. So they all live up there, hence why I've been putting a couple of events on up there lately.
You done one at Telford, didn't you?
Yeah.
So you've done various events. I do want to talk about the RPG because your name is Paul Ryder Promotion. So it's almost like a dyslexic Paul Ryder, isn't it? How did that get about?
To be fair, it was RPG was obviously this RPG was there was a group of us involved at the start. Yeah. And RPG, the three lads was Ryder, me, Pig, which is the nickname of another lad, and Gandhi, which is the nickname of another lad. Yeah. But obviously RPG's Rapid Propel Grenade, which is the actual name of a rocket launcher. Yeah. Hence the badge has got the rocket launcher, but I've took that off now. So it's just RPG Promotions. So what was the connection with that rocket launcher? It was just the name. It was just the name, yeah. It just we looked at our initials and that went with it, and we wanted a little logo, and that was how it come about. To be fair, but now it's obviously just mine. I've now took the rocket launcher off because it was a decent little logo. Yeah, it was. And it was a really colourful little logo as well. It's almost, when you used to go into the woods and do all the playing Little Boy Soldiers. Yeah. Did people get confused with that? Did you have any bookings? No, there was. To be fair, I've had a couple of phone calls lately actually because I had to Google it because there's another company called RPG. Okay. Obviously, it's I don't know what theirs is. RPG Productions. Yeah. Doesn't do nothing like what I do at events wise. Mm-hmm. They're more of that kind of paintballing and stuff like that. That's that side of it. But I did have a phone call about 2 or 3 weeks ago, looking to book a paintballing event. I went, that's not me. So there must be more than you that does it. You must have a team behind the team. You must have a very supportive wife. I do believe that you connected with your missus in a sporting capacity as well. Yeah, so I obviously I've been with the wife. Oh God, I can't get this wrong. No, you better not. They're very, very fussy on dates as well. I've been with the missus around 25 years. Met her at a football tournament. A five-a-side football tournament. I was manager. I've always managed since the age of 15. Right. I've managed football teams, managed obviously lads teams, and then I started a club called Smithswood Firs. 2010. Okay. Started just playing Saturday afternoon football, blah blah blah, and then obviously we did get decent. We got very, very good, and then we started playing at a level then, and we ended up going into the Midland Com. Blimey. And we ended up getting to finals, playing the teams like Bromsgrove in semi-finals. We had the big game that stands out. We played Bromsgrove in the semi-final of the FA Vars. We was the lowest ranked team ever to get that far, and we were 1-0 up with 4 minutes to go, and they brought a guy on from off the bench. They've got on loan from a Swedish team. He played in the UEFA Cup 2 weeks before. Played in the UEFA Cup 2 weeks before, come on, and scored 2 goals against us and lost. Oh, dear. Yeah. But we got we done really well. We won leagues. We started off in Division 9, and within 4 years we got to Division 1.
Wow.
But then once you get to that level, you have to have certain criteria, pitches, grounds, and we just couldn't do it.
And you got to start paying the players as well, ain't you?
Because of the money, yeah. And and then I had like teams like Bromsgrove, Sporting Castle, teams like that were coming in for my players.
Yeah.
And then players, they're lads that, you know, they're not going to turn around 70, 80 quid a game getting paid for something they love. So I reluctantly ended up folding the club, which it took me 2 years to get over.
I bet it did.
And but that's when I thought, I'm going to do these events. I've always loved organising and arranging stuff, so that's when it all started.
And you really are so prolific. Let's give a mention to your social media. So first and foremost, like, how people can link up with you and get to your events.
Yeah, so you've got, well, we're on all social media, so Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. TikTok's massive at the minute. We're on TikTok.
I know, we've looked at it earlier. Trust me.
Facebook, and then our website, which is www.rpgpromotions.co.uk. So yeah, all of them will have everything to do with our events on. What's
your most prolific avenue on social media? What do you find that you get the most traffic?
Facebook. Twitter's gone a bit big at the minute.
Okay.
I went on today. I love Twitter, but I don't really go on. Sometimes I miss going on Twitter. But I went on there today, and I've got like 47 notifications from people liking some of the events, pictures. Like, for instance, we had Ian Taylor the weekend. Yeah. He's put a big picture up, and that's had like 2,500 likes. Were tagged in it, so it's good. It's good. Mark Draper's done it as well, so he's got loads of people liking it. So obviously the people that are following them players are now following RPG, which is good.
And the bigger the star, the more attraction, the more likes, the more retweets, and it's good for you as well, isn't it? Yeah. So groups, they must be really positive for you, really productive for you, posting in the groups. Do you have many of those groups that take your posts down? Because we do find that, unfortunately, and I don't understand it.
It's mainly the Villa groups.
Got ya.
Because obviously I've got all the Aston Villa groups, all the Birmingham City groups. Yeah. They're the main groups I've got. And to be fair, I don't think it's ever been rejected from a Birmingham group. But there's one group, it's called Everything Aston Villa. They will share everything of mine and Villa related.
Good.
None of the others, they'll reject it. I don't know why.
I find it so sad, because it just seems as though people are making money, because you're not a charity, you're a business, but you do a lot of charity work as well. So it's not just helping you financially.
It's helping the fans, and I'm giving the fans a cheap night out.
Yeah, to meet their heroes.
You know what I mean?
Because you are very well priced, aren't you? What is it, £10 or £15? No more than
quid. No more than £20.
Exactly,
usually for obviously the bigger the stock. Like these Birmingham City and Aston Villa events. I don't think there's ever been one more than £20. Obviously, you've got the Ultimate Villa one that's 65, but you're getting a 3-course meal with that. Yeah. You can't, nowadays, mate, you can't go anywhere. 3-course meal for less than 50 quid.
Turkey.
Well, yeah, I'm going now actually in 3 weeks.
Where you off to?
Marmaris.
Oh, okay. I'm going in 6 weeks, going back to Cusher there, see?
Oh, I love Turkey, mate.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? Fabulous.
You've just come back, haven't you?
I'm going again. Oh. Can't get enough of it. Talk about your missus as well, briefly. What's her connection with that? Because you can't leave her out.
She's a diamond. She's one of them that she'll always just, whatever I say, she'll go with the flow. She'll do it. But she loves RPG. She's very, very supportive events. So, for instance, I was blocked on Facebook, to be fair, a few times lately. I don't know why. I got one. I'm blocked at the minute, everyone.
Yeah, it's a nightmare, isn't it?
Yeah, they're saying I've gone against community standards, but I just posted at the Birmingham City event.
We have it all the time. I know, it's crazy.
But then you look on the page and there's people selling like illegal stuff, and I'm like,
I know.
Crazy. But so she, obviously, when I can't go on, she'll share all the stuff.
Yeah.
And she's also admin on the RPG page, so if ever I'm in a meeting and then I get a message, she'll reply to them. But yeah, she's very, very supportive, and she has to be because I'm never at home on weekends.
Because that's what it's all about, being supportive, being proactive as well, because you can miss events if you're not on, on your toes.
Well, when I book an event in, she says to me, who you booked in? Tell her, and it goes in her diary. And I'm putting it in mine, because if you forget, very rare I do, but there is the odd occasion when I'm like, oh God, I've got to take that. And like before an event, she'll write a list down for me. Have you got this? You got this? You got this? Got it all. And then if I forget something, she'll drop it up to me.
So she's a great organiser.
Yeah, she's
fabulous. Events that you've done, in the middle of you started, what year was it that you started? Because we had COVID a few years ago.
I started, I've been doing this obviously for about 8 years. And it was a company called SW Events at the time, stood for Smithswood. Yeah. Following my football team. Obviously I had Smithswood first, so I thought Smithswood Events, I'll do that. So I've been doing that for about a year. Started off just by doing like tributes, just little tribute nights at the Kingshurst Labour Club.
Did you take that one?
I did. That was my very first one, that was. That was my very, very first one at the Kingshurst Labour Club.
Yeah.
Brilliant night. And I'd just done that, just on a whim. I just thought, I'll put this on. Didn't have SW Events at the time. I just thought I'll do it, have a night out, rammed. And then I was doing them there for quite a bit. I had Take That, I had a Robbie Williams, Ollie Murr. Started off musical.
Yeah.
And then obviously spoke to one of my friends who played the game. Says, he says to me, why don't you do one of these sportsman nights? I went, I don't know if it'd work. I don't know how to start, blah, blah, blah. I went, I'll give you an hand. I'll give you an hand on the first one. I'll organise who it is. And, I've seen them do them. All right. So my first sportsman event was Frank Bruno.
Right.
Yeah, that was my very first sportsman one. And that was done at the Meadway, because I was there at the time.
The pub?
Yeah, the Meadway Sports and Social.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Upstairs, in the big room. We had Frank, and it was brilliant. I'll tell you when it was. We're supposed to have had him just before COVID. Yeah. COVID hit, and then you had that 2-week period where it opened up a bit. Sure. So Frank phoned and says, do you want to put me on like there? So tickets were already sold, so I went, okay. So he came down and he was superb. He virtually told us, I'll do this. So I just went with the flow. Yeah. And from then, I thought, I like this. I could get used to this. And then obviously got a few more contacts. And then obviously from there, it's just gone up. Like for instance, this year alone, I was having a look on the way here. I've done 48 events this year, and I've got another 28 to go.
48 events
already,
and it's June the 19th. How do you put all those events on?
I don't know,
because it is incredible. I look at you and you tie me out just looking at you. The hosts that you use, because I want to talk as well, not just football, but you do things for kids. You do R&B events as well, don't you?
We do the music events, and then we do, because I like to mix it up.
Yeah, you do.
If I do these sportsmen, it's just the blokes going out all the time. I do the stuff for the women, so I use the UK Pleasure Boys all the time. I mean, I think I've got them booked in 5 or 6 times this year. Guaranteed sells out. But girls love them. They love them nights out. Gets them out of the house. We do brunches. We've got a brunch coming up. And then we do the family day. So
how does a brunch work?
So the one we've got, it's a diva brunch. It's in November the 18th. So it's £30 a ticket. And then you get 2 hours of unlimited food and unlimited drink.
Wow.
Yeah, and then you get a show. So it's a drag show.
But when you say brunch, that's like breakfast and lunch. Is it daytime or is it a night brunch?
No, it's a day. So it starts, doors open at midday.
Nice.
Bar will open at 1:30 till 3:30 for the free. So it's unlimited Prosecco, cocktails. The only thing you can't have is beer. So it's Prosecco, cocktails, wine, shot, everything. And then you get your hot food as well. So
how come you can't have beer?
It's just the price.
Yeah,
otherwise,
sure.
People would be just taking the mick.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. Where's
that event at your brunch?
At the Macadam Sports Association. Okay. Tickets are starting to go now. So
you used to, or you still do use the Macadam a lot. I've seen a lot of your events there.
Macadam's, I'll call it my home now.
Yeah.
That's where I do a lot of because they're brilliant. Absolutely. You know, I put an event on. I won't mention the place. Some venue contacted me and says, "Oh, we want you to put." They've obviously seen. They're going, "Well, I wanted to put an event on," because they're thinking, "Oh, get 300 people in this room where you can." Rah rah rah. But how I look at it is, it's all, you can't just leave it to me. You've got to publicise it and advertise, because it's in your benefit to fill the room. And I had it at this place, and it was on 2 weeks before. It was on 17 tickets. And I looked, they hadn't advertised it, so I pulled it and moved it to the Macadam, and within 10 days it sold out.
Yeah.
Because what they do there, Sean, the gaffer, and the staff, they just share the life out of it, constantly sharing, and the regulars jump on it because they love them. They love the regulars, love a night out there. So, Macadam's my home at the minute. Because
it's a two-way street, isn't it? You're putting the event on, you can't possibly promote it all the time because you've got other things. When you're doing something, the hardest thing is the promotion. You can put an event, you can put on whoever, whether it be boxing, whether it be R&B, whether it be a brunch, whatever it is. But if the event place, the venue, isn't promoting it as well, it ain't going to work. So you've got to really They have to hit it hard. You know what I mean? It's like another venue I'm using now, the Old Oscar. Okay.
They're good at advertising and sharing stuff. So yeah, but there is venues out there like. But to be fair, I've only had the one that I've had to pull from the venue because they haven't done their bit.
I like the way you haven't mentioned them because that's classy.
Yeah,
you don't need to do that.
I don't need to mention them.
Because you might want to go back there of these days.
You know, I might, and they might want me again.
Exactly.
And then we can work it out. But if I bad movement, it's not professional.
Because with some venues, if playing devil's advocate, they might not understand what their role is, and then they look at it and think, do you know what? What we should have done is this. So then they might go back to you, and you'll put events on at that place.
Exactly.
How many venues do you ordinarily work with?
So I'll try and name them. So I've got the Macadam.
Yeah.
I've got Birmingham City Football Club, Aston Villa Football Club, Telford Football Club, the Old Oscar. I've just got a new event in Cornwall.
Right.
For Villa Cornwall.
Yeah,
Villa Supporters Club.
Oh, you're behind that.
Yeah. So they've got an event. We've got an event on there in March.
Is that Shoresy?
No, it's
Gary's doing one down there, and Big Ronnie's as well.
Ron's got one coming up. John Gregory, I'm taking John down there. What else? There's a few venues. The Pavilions, Kingshurst Pavilions, the Old Oscar.
I've had a few
Aston
in there.
The Aston Inn. You come to Aston?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
There's a few, mate. I've probably got about 20 to 25 venues that constantly phone me.
John Gregory.
Brilliant.
Was he not at Villa Park the other night with Bruce Springsteen?
He was, yeah. He was.
Massive fan, and Rossi.
He brings his guitar to the Q&A nights. He sings.
Yeah.
Because he spoke to John actually. He wanted to put him on somewhere so he not Q&A.
Yeah.
He's just singing, just playing his guitar.
Because he does
he's
do
good
that,
as well.
don't he?
He's good. He's very good.
You'd be amazed what talents footballers have apart from playing football on a pitch.
Yeah. There's a few. I mean, I went to tell you what I went to the other day. It wasn't my event. It was at Blues. Went to the Dugarry one.
Right. Okay.
Christoph Dugarry. So, and you get these. You get the wrong impression of a football. You think arrogant, the way he left and like that.
Yeah.
But what a bloke! What a bloke! He went round to every table, met everyone, greeted everyone, spoke to every person in that room. He spoke to, signed anything they wanted. Brilliant he was. And one of my new favourites at the minute is Clinton Morrison.
He's a good lad as well, isn't he?
He's brilliant. What a bloke he is. He's so good.
I remember being at Solihull Moors and watching, I think it was a Birmingham City reserve game, and Clinton, I think he'd been away on international duty, he hadn't been in the team, and he was playing, and someone said he's asked the gaffer to play, because some of these players, they don't want to sit on a bench, they want to play football. I know that a lot of the modern fans and that think all the players want to do, they'll just sit on the bench picking up the money. Morrison wasn't that kind of player. He was a grafter, and he's good on the TV. He's got a good personality as well, hasn't he?
He's brilliant.
And he's funny.
He's hilarious.
But Christophe Dugarry, I did see the pictures of Christophe. He used to have an Alice band. He looked like Jesus. Yeah. I mean,
I asked him, I says to him, where's your hair gone? He went, I won't do the French accent.
Yeah.
He went, my chest, my back and my balls. I went, all right, Sam.
But your hair, it's gone.
Yeah.
But again, going back, let's just indulge in Christophe for a bit. What a player he was. I mean, that guy. I know that Birmingham City fans call him a legend, and I think that the word legend is used a little bit too loosely. And I think he was a very good player. Would I call him a legend? Not really. But I think he was a fabulous player who I used to manage kids' football teams at the time. And I used to think I was Dugarry when I put my boots on. His skill was unlike anything apart from Frank Worthington that I'd seen in the Birmingham City shirt. He could make that ball talk. In fact, he played a game against Southampton, and Strachan said after the game he influenced the referee. He run the game, and he did. And I wrote my first poem ever about Christophe Dugarry. He was a god. Did Devlin tell you about the story about the rowing machine as well?
No.
Yeah, because like Dev was on the rowing machine, and Dugarry has opened the door, and he's having a look to see what's going on. And Brucey's gone, Christophe, when Dev's finished, you're on the rowing machine. And he's gone, no. Footballer, no rower. And he left. And Devlin says, Gaffer, what was all that about? And he says, Dev, when you've won the World Cup, you can do what you like.
Well, at the night, actually, they were saying, because obviously, like it says, legend gets used quite a lot.
Yeah, it does.
And I don't think he's a Birmingham legend. He's won the World Cup. His best mate's Zinedine Zidane. You know what I mean? He's like,
what a player.
And but they were saying, and I was probably the only non-Birmingham City fan there, and they were all saying he's probably in behind Worthington and Francis. He's probably next on an all-time Birmingham City team.
I think for a lot of fans he is. I mean, personally, he wouldn't be in mine.
I think he kept them up single-handedly.
Because, Dev would also say that if Christophe wasn't there, we'd have still stayed up rather. But Dev says, what a great lad. I mean, he was nice one of the boys where you're looking at the player coming in, winning a World Cup. He's played for AC Milan, but all these teams, and he's come in.
He mentioned his 1 to 11, and I was like,
I know, yeah, it's incredible, isn't it?
And I stood up and I went, Dev's not in it. But he's he gave me his number after, because obviously I was telling him I do stuff. Tom Ross, Clinton Morrison introduced me to him, and he says, like, next year, give me a call and we'll do one. Obviously, I think he needs to. I think the problem they had with that night, and that's not slagging him off or anything like that. I just think that
it's a learning curve, isn't it?
It was too overpriced. So, we're in a cost of living crisis, people. The guy says to me, how come you sell yours out? Because mine's 20 quid, mate.
Cheap, yeah.
I said, that's why. I says, your ticket price has got to be lower. So if you had, I says, you should have got a bigger venue. I says, your ticket prices could have come down then. You would have sold it out more. But like I said, he's been that guy that put them nights on. He's been in a lot longer than me. He's on a different level. But that it was a really, really good night. And Christophe, like says, what a bloke. Such a nice bloke. Really nice bloke.
Another nice bloke that you're doing at Birmingham, Olivier Tebele.
Yeah.
Great bloke, isn't he?
And he contacted me.
Yeah.
It was on Facebook. I tagged Devs in it because obviously Devs is his friend on Facebook. And he messaged me. We just got talking and he says, I'd love to do it. And the good thing about him is, because I told him a fee, I says, what's the fee? And he went, no fee. He says, give it all to charity. He says, I ain't paid. I don't want to be paid. He says, I don't need to be paid. He says, and I'm not. I can make my own money. He says, I'm coming over. He's flying in. This is what's happening. He's flying in that day. He's doing the gig. And the next day, he goes back to France with Devs and Jono. Back to his vineyard.
Fantastic.
He's bringing me a bottle. Don't drink it, but...
Has Dugarry got a vineyard as well?
No, he hasn't.
Oh, has he not?
No, they asked him that and he went, no. He says, I wouldn't have a clue what to do with one.
Again, there's rumours there. Now, you get those rumours. Dugarry's got a vineyard in France.
Says,
no, he hasn't.
Says, no, he
Tebele has. I'm surprised that Jono and Devs are going now, because there's going to be no wine left if them pair are going. And it's a good job that they're going to France and not Italy, because I still think they're banned from going in there, especially with Daishi as well. Magic moments that you've had. You must have had some extraordinary moments, some really kind of
wow moments.
Yeah, that where you go, do you know what?
I've made it.
Yeah,
them
just like heaven.
Yeah, the one is when I'm putting an event on and it's with Paul Gascoigne, mate.
Yeah.
My idol, tell you what as well, the other one, me on a personal level, is my John Barnes night.
Yes.
Because he's my hero. He was my mad Liverpool fan, England, John Barnes. He was like, but them 2 nights are when I thought, wow, yeah, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life now.
Barnsley, ball boy in Jamaica when Santos played Chelsea, 1970.
He mentioned that on the night.
Did he really?
And he sung. And then he said,
the rap.
He's done the rap, but he showed us, he's got clips on his phone, he put it to the mic.
Yeah.
First of all, Gaza doing it.
Yeah.
And then Peter Beardsley doing it. And then obviously John done it live on the night then. And he was such a brilliant night. Really, really good night.
And you've got Gaza coming back as well, ain't you?
Yeah, October.
And how is Paul at the moment? Because
he's in a good place.
Yeah, he did go through.
Yeah, he went through it, and he's in a good place. Really, again, he's such a nice bloke.
Yeah.
The people say to me, "Oh, you wouldn't be able to understand him," and I was like, "Why?" And they're like, "Well, he talked, but he's fine. I've had it before."
Yeah.
Have you ever been to an event with him? No. Don't tarnish him until you come and watch him then. And one guy actually came. I had a ticket and I gave him. I says, "Come to the event. I'm giving you a ticket." It's on my table. And at the end of the night, he went, "Mate, what a bloke." Some of the stories, mate, never gets old. I can't wait again. And I'll listen to him again. He's one of them guys that you could listen to him 3 times straight night at the same stories. You'd laugh at every single story.
But he's just a great storyteller, isn't he? And he's brilliant. A great character. I mean, he grew up in the rough streets, didn't he? A Gateshead, he come through at Newcastle. What was he, 1967? I think Gaza was born. And then in 1990, Paul Gascoigne went to Italy and Gaza come back home. And we knew then that we'd got a character on our hands.
Special.
We got a football player. He was a throwback to the Mavericks of the 70s. We haven't really seen the likes of that since. I mean, you could argue that you got Gaza, you now got Jack Grealish, but apart from that, there's been very, very few players of that ilk, of that character that you like to see both on and off the pitch. I like the way that Gaza's got the turkey, feed the turkey. Grealish Jack's got that. But Gaza used to have the dentist chair, didn't he, with that iconic goal against Scotland. He must have talked you through that goal.
Mate, he's sort of the one story that gets me every time I've had. I mean, this will be the third or the 4th time now I've had him in October, and the one story just gets me every time. There's a couple, but the one is the ostrich. He goes to a zoo and hires an ostrich. Who could do that? The guy opened the door and he went, "You're Paul Gascoigne." And he went, "Yep, can I have an ostrich?" And he went, "Yeah." Put it in his car, going down the motorway, and loads of people are bibbing him. He's going, "Everyone bibbing me for? He's got an ostrich on your face." Oh, mate, the guy's a legend. Brilliant.
I think the only other person that could have possibly done that was Robin Friday. I think Robin done something similar back in the 70s. But Gaza, I mean, he done the pie as well with Jimmy. Is he still mates with Jimmy, by the way?
Yeah.
Is it 5 bellies or 6
he still
bellies?
mentions him. Yeah, well, I don't know, might be 4 now. Lost a bit, but he does mention him a lot, and he does speak to him on the. But Gaza's very busy at the minute. Obviously, he's got a lot of TV work going on.
Yeah.
But like I says, I've had to put him on a. I was a bit worried because I thought, well, Gaza sells out, but it's a Sunday afternoon. I've got him on, but, mate. It's the second quickest selling one I've done that night.
What's the quickest selling?
Barry Fry.
Really?
Barry Fry went within 3 hours.
Hysterical, isn't he?
Oh, mate. Another one.
Loved the Blues as well, didn't he?
Yeah, his character was brilliant. He was saying, like, when I think Blues played Peterborough, was it the end of this season? And he was in the Blues end at the Peterborough ground.
But again, characters, Barry Fry, an absolute character. Tom Ross does a great job hosting because Tom's been there, he's wore the T-shirt, and he knows all the stories, and he just don't really need to prompt the players, but he can do that little bit of ad-libbing. They go off-piste and they have a laugh. That one with Andy Gray was superb.
I was just about to mention that. What's good about Tom, because he's obviously, everyone knows he's a Blues fan. Yeah. And when he does my Villa nights, he just gets ripped, but he just takes it. But Andy Gray killed him that night, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Absolutely killed him, but he just took it. He give it back, though. He give it back. But, Tom Ross, he's brilliant. Really, really good. And we work well together because obviously I'll phone him and say, "Who can you get me?" And he'll phone around for me. He'll do a lot of the background work. Say, "What about him? What about him?" And I'll say, "Right, yeah, let's book him and let's get a venue." And he does all that. But he's really, really good at it. Loves his coffee and tea now as well.
In terms of Birmingham, Villa, Albion, the local stuff, Tom, I think Tom's like address book must be phenomenal. But out of town, not so much, because he's a Birmingham presenter, host, radio star, however you want to perceive Tom Ross. You use other people for the likes of Gazza and some of the other fellas, don't you?
Jed Stone's the other one, who's, again, brilliant. And
he's a comedian, isn't he?
Have you ever seen him?
No.
Mate, you'll have to come to an event when he's comparing, because he does a comedy sketch. And he's another one where... You know, you get the comedians that repeat the same jokes. He does, but I laugh every single time.
Because they're funny.
Because it's the way he says them. It's just his mannerisms, and it's just the way he does it. But Jed's another brilliant one. They're the main two, and I use Andy Blair a lot.
Great host.
Yeah, I had him on
host.
Friday for the Villa 96 lads.
Yeah.
And he was brilliant. Again, stopped adding autographs, signing things for people. And the crazy thing about that night is a few weeks before, I had Paul Merson at the old Oscar. Yeah. And there was a lad there. It was only, I think he was 8, this kid. And obviously I thought, he knows Paul Merson. So anyway, so he brought a ticket for the next one, the one on Friday. And he's come up to me, he's grabbing me, and he's going, "Oh, is that Andy Blair?" And I was like, "Wow, you're 8 years old."
How did you know that?
I didn't even know who it was until I got his number. I said, "Do you know?" And then he's come up to me and went, "When you going to get Rimmer and Swain and all them?" I'm like,
"Hey,
you're 8 years old, man." And obviously I've got the 82, I've got a big 82 one again with the European Cup. September the 15th, I've got Andy Blair.
So how does that kid know all these players?
I don't know, mate. He messages me now. So he must use his dad's Facebook or his granddad's Facebook. And he says, "What about these?" And he mentions players. And I'm like,
that's uncanny.
Say to Tom Ross, "Who's he?"
Yeah.
So we asked about him. He went, "Who's that for him?" I went, "Oh, this young lad, he's about 8. And even Tom, like, "What?"
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, such knowledge, mate, is unbelievable.
It's incredible how someone so young can have such knowledge. Another great person to have as a host would be Steve Daly. Have you ever done an audience with Steve?
No.
Hysterical.
No.
Oh, hysterical. Wolverhampton Wanderers. Absolute legend. Brilliant.
No, I've never done him.
Razor Ruddock, another one of your mates that you've had. Has he ever talked about Billy? Let's talk about the hard men in football.
He's
crackers, isn't he?
He's here and all there.
Yeah, no, it's crackers.
We had him. I'd say I've had him three or four times, and the last time I had him was at the Macadam. Yeah. So I've gone in and I've gone, Razor, we're in the green room. It's the end of the night. No, not the end of the night. It's the interval. I went, "After this, do you fancy a curry? We'll go Bengal Palace, just down the road."
Yeah.
He went, "Yeah, okay, sound." Says, "Who's coming?" I went, "Me, you, 2 door lads." He went, "Oh, all right, yeah, sound." So anyway, so he's gone back out for his second half. He's telling his stories, and there was this guy, like, he's one of them guys where, you know, if you have people talk in the background, you have the compere go, shh. He won't.
Yeah.
He'll go over. So for instance, he was talking, and this girl was on the phone, and he went, "Oi, oi." He says, "When you're working, do I go on the phone?" It's like that, and she's gone. And then there was this one guy giving it me all night, to be fair. Old chap. I know him.
Yeah.
There's an old chap, Neil. He was sat on the front, and he's got just one tooth.
Okay.
And he's giving Razor chip and Razor stuff. Went, "Oi, Nanny McPhee." Just killed him. He was like,
If you want that tooth still there, shut up.
But so anyway, so he's done his sketch. He's then gone on the mic and told everybody that we're going Bengal Palace for a curry. So it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and 60 people have turned up at Bengal Palace. The owner was like, what am I doing? What are we doing? I went, "Well, you're going to feed us all, mate."
Yeah, you better get your chef out of bed.
But I was like, but he was buzzing, weren't he? 60 people turning up having food.
But again, he played that way, didn't he, Razor?
Yeah.
You know, he was...
but he didn't eat.
A better player than we're ever given credit for, really. He was a decent player. But he's got the band, hasn't he? So he don't eat that much these days. No. He was in a bad position,
he was.
Bad place, wasn't he?
Harry's Heroes,
yeah.
And they says
could have saved his life, you know. Does he talk about that?
They say he did. He says to me, he says, "Saved my life, mate."
Really?
100% saved my life. So he's in a really good place, Razor.
Good.
Really good place. And such a lovely bloke. Again, I mean, I know I say it about them all, but I don't think I've ever had one where I've gone, I wouldn't have him again.
Yeah.
I don't like him.
How's Merce doing now? Because he's been through the gambling addiction, etc. And Lee Hendry as well.
Yeah, well, I've got Lee in September in Telford. Merce is, again, really, really good. Speak to Merce probably every day, to be fair. Because he's got a local gig in June the 30th at another event.
Okay.
In Stourbridge.
Where's that at? Let's give it a shout if you can.
I can't remember the venue, but the guy on Facebook called Nick Smith.
Okay.
MC something, the company.
Okay.
MC Events, it might be. Yeah. And I do know there's tickets left for it, so give him a shout. Merson's, again, he's one of the best. He's one of the best to listen to, one of the best talkers.
Does he tell the story about when he told Harry he needed some time off, he was tired and he
went on holiday? Yeah. Mate, he's like, even to the extra, a lot of them won't talk about personal stuff. Yeah. He tells every single story. He tells everything. Like I says, I speak to him every day. I spoke to him this morning, and he's such a nice bloke. Really nice bloke, man, and he'll do anything for people. And like I says, he's down 30th, and we've got him again next year, January, along with got a couple of new ones next year that I've not had yet, so I'm looking forward to them.
Who will they be? Can you say?
Alan McAnally.
Okay, yeah, Rambo.
Yeah, and Dean Windass.
Oh, he'll be good.
So he's supposed to be Razor Mark II.
Who you got with Dino? Because again, the thing is with someone like Dean Windass, I guess the best thing that's happened to Dean is Josh scoring that goal at Wembley, because then his goal of 15 years ago gets replayed.
Well, it has been, hasn't it?
But a lot of people wouldn't ordinarily know who Dean Windass is in Birmingham, because there's a lot of players, certainly from the 70s, that I would like to bring to Birmingham. The granddads might know who they are, but the kids, it's a younger audience, isn't it?
That's what I mean. I've got to be careful. I've not had one that's not really sold out. But again, Barry Fry, for instance, there was a young crowd.
Yeah.
It was a really young crowd that probably weren't even born when he was even manager.
But again, that's the thing. It's Birmingham City, and it's related to Birmingham City. So if you didn't play for the team like Dean, but Dean is a right character.
Yeah, he'll be brilliant. I think Tom Ross is comparing that.
Yeah.
Tom's comparing that, and Alan McAnally. Alan will be
Are them two doing it at the same time?
No,
Dean and Rambo got you.
Separate dates. So next year we've got, I've got 3 booked in so far, which is Merson, Windass, and McAnally, and I'm we're definitely going to get him next year, Mike Tyndall. We're going to go rugby.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Going down the rugby route because Royal Family.
I was going to say, yeah.
And he's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's really funny. So, but I'm trying to get a few different ones.
Your boxing events, is it Tom that does your boxing events, or do you have a boxing host to do that?
No, it's Jed.
Oh, Jed does that as well?
Because again, he knows, Jed's very good. I think Jed's got all of them. So we had Tony Bellew, who was the best night I've ever put on.
How good was Bellew?
Oh, mate. And again, I know I've said it quite a lot.
Yeah.
What a lovely bloke. Shame he's an Everton fan. But what a lovely bloke.
You're a Liverpool supporter, aren't you?
What a lovely bloke, mate.
Yeah.
Such a nice... And he would do anything. And he was just brilliant. Like the stories that I didn't... Because he was new to me and I liked him anyway.
Yeah.
And I love boxing. And he was he was just brilliant. And then there was like... Frankie Gavin was there, so he had guests come. And then Don Broadhurst came. And then from that, we've got... Joe Calzaghe in November, who's again, I've not had him. Johnny Nelson, who I love.
Yeah.
So Johnny Nelson's at the Macadam in November. So they're the 3 boxing ones I've got this year. What else have I got this year?
Johnny Nelson, a great talker, and again on Sky you look at Johnny, and he's kind of guy that starts talking and you listen, even if it's not your bag. You'll listen to him, and the stories they all translate, whether it's football, whether it's boxing, no matter what it is, it translates, don't it? And it hooks you in because...
and I love Johnny Nelson.
Yeah.
Gloves are off, I've watched that all the time.
Yeah.
And I think he's obviously this commentator and the host on Sky, so he's constantly on them. I think he's brilliant. Role
models for you? Who's your I mean, obviously John Barnes, you spoke about.
John Barnes and Gaza were my 2 heroes. Loved them.
You look a bit like Gazza, to be fair, don't you? You've got that kind of Gazza look about you.
My feet don't work like his, mate.
Not many feet did work like Gazza, if I'm honest.
Role models. Them two were like heroes. I loved. I could watch them. But I'm not one of these fans. I was having a debate today, actually, with a fellow Red, saying about, because there was talk of Kyle Walker.
Yeah, sure.
Liverpool have been linked to him and have him all day long. Best right back in the Prem for the last 5 years. Nah, played for Man City.
And?
Right, okay. But I'm not one of these, like, I'm a Liverpool fan, but I would love to go and listen to Brian Robson.
Same here.
Love to go and listen to it. And I'm not one of them. I suppose I can't, because it's my business, so I can't have that side of it. But I've never been like that. I've been honest when it comes to football. If I think something's not right, I'll tell them, or I'll put somebody on.
Even if I don't,
even if I don't like them, I'll put them on because I don't like them. Everybody else. It's like, for instance, I didn't have a great, like Clinton Morrison, for instance. When I watched him on telly, I used to think, but mate, he's completely changed. What a bloke! What a bloke! Yeah.
Crossover. When you get a Birmingham City event, they're generally all Birmingham City supporters. Do you get many from, like, Villa watching Blues and Blues watching Villa? Cause
Barry Fry, we had Villa fans.
Yeah, got you.
And the Villa event? Andy Gray and Brian Little. I had. There was a table of Blues fans.
Was that down at Kingshurst?
That was at the Pavs, yeah.
Yeah.
But so. Yeah, I think don't get me wrong, you don't get many.
No, absolutely,
You don't get many, but
I just like to listen to the stories, no matter who they are. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Who do you support?
Well, that's what I love about what I do. Not many people know it. I am a Blues supporter, but I post more things about Villa.
Because I actually thought you was Villa.
But I'm a Blue. I mean, all the Blues fans think that I'm a Villa fan, and when I go down the Villa with my stepson and the son-in-law and that, who look after me, all the Villa boys, they all know I'm a Blues fan.
Yeah.
I mean, they're Birmingham, are you listening? I go, yes, I am. And they go, as a neutral, Paul, what do you reckon? Yeah. Well, I hope you win. And I think you've got a great team. And your ground and your atmosphere, I think it's absolutely fantastic. Sponsors, it must be very difficult because you need sponsors to put on events. The guys don't come for free.
No.
You've got to sell your tickets, but to earn some dough, you need to get them sponsors in there as well, don't you?
I didn't used to start doing the sponsorship thing, and then I seen one of my friends who used to, I'll give me a shout, Carl Evans, runs Star Moments, and with the sponsorship, that's how I learnt it from him, to be fair. And sponsors play a huge part, to be fair, and I'll mention them. So you've got Dean Sherrington, the DS Fitness, who's sponsored about 3 events so far. He's mainly boxing, because obviously it's a boxing gym. Get down there. So Dean Sherrington. Then you've got Ceci Blues, who do obviously they've done the Barry Fry, and they've done a couple of the Blues ones. Trying to think off the top of my head now. You got Blacked Out Tattoo Studio, who are doing the main Villa one. You've got the coffee company. So I'm forgetting all. Garrison, that's it. Coffee company.
He's had his bath now. He's back.
I'll actually get my phone out because I've actually wrote them down today, because there is a good few. Ian Mitchell, Furniture Solutions. They've sponsored one. There's quite a few. I've had quite a few sponsors, and obviously we're still looking. I put a post up today, actually. We've got quite a few events, like next year's events are now advertised, so people jump on them. Ian Robinson, Shush UK, he sponsored a few, big Blues one. He sponsored the Blues ones. But sponsors play a huge part, because they get the ball rolling on the tickets. So with a sponsor, they pay a lot more.
Yeah, sure.
They get the perks of best seats in the house, banner on the stage, social mentions, and all that. But sponsors play a huge part, so massive shout out to them. And
you can't get enough sponsors, you can't get enough help, can you? No. Did you ever get hold of Macca?
I did.
Yeah.
I did get hold of him. We're planning 2024.
Good.
He is very, very busy.
I bet he is.
We will have Paul McGraw in 2024.
So going forward, you've got Mickey Arford. He's coming back to Birmingham. The Crazy Gang. Is that how you're going to be tagging that? The Crazy Gang.
I don't need doormen.
They are the doormen. I used to work at Faces nightclub just off Broad Street or King Lex Square, and in them days, them boys, they run Birmingham. they were incredible. I think Broads was about as well. There was Oppie, there was Gailey, Blakey, Mickey Harford. You got before them, you got Mark Dennis, you got Psychopath. Birmingham City have always had right nutters as players. They got some right nutcases.
They were the original
fans.
crazy gang,
absolutely. Well, when Oppie told me this, when Mickey Harford went to Wimbledon, he said, "See, you're like pussycats compared to Birmingham City." They were crackers, and Gailey would be a great one to have. And when you do get Gailey, ask him about the Alsatian down at Albany. There's a great story there.
I might try and get him on that Ultimate Blues one.
Yeah.
Be a good show.
So anybody that you haven't had that you would like to get, because you've had so many, do you do Albion ones as well? How far out of town do you do?
I think I've been asked to put a Wolves and an Albion one, but I don't know if I've got to look at the bigger picture sometimes.
Yeah, a bit risky.
I think, would it, I could probably put an Albion one in that sort of area or a Wolves one in that sort of area, but I think this
Black
side
country,
of town, I don't think it sells this side of town, if I'm being honest. So but looking at who I would like to get, I'd like to get Gareth Barry. I'd like to get him down to do one, but
nice guy, you know.
I have tried to get contact of Lee's on the case, Lee Hendry.
I was going to say Endo was a big mate of his.
Best mate, so Lee's on the case with it. Who else?
Because he's an absolute gentleman, Gareth Barry.
Yeah.
Because they used to knock about a bit, you know, in the day, Barry and Hendry.
Yeah.
I remember going into a bar in Stratford and a barman telling me a story about them. Gareth Barry, absolute gentleman. Lee Hendry was a little bit worse for wear in them days. And he got his comeuppance, he got his answer from a bird.
No change.
But again, he's a character, any Endo. I used to like Lee Hendry.
I like him.
You know, I like him now, but I used to like him when he played football.
Yeah.
I thought he was a real talent, Lee Hendry. But Gareth Barry, brilliant.
Yeah. I'm trying to think who I would
Ashley
like.
Young could be another good one as well, you know.
Yeah.
Young, a legend at Villa.
He is a legend. I'm surprised I got rid of him, if I'm being honest. I'm very surprised. I thought they might have kept him on for a year. But he'd be a good one. I'm trying to think Villa. Peter With, I'm trying to get him, but he lives in Australia, so
he does, it's
kind of hard getting him. He does come over. I've spoke to him, and
we've had Peter in there.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, you speak to him?
Yeah.
I spoke to his son, and
Steve, good lad.
Yeah, and he says
like
when we get the dates for 2024, we'll let you know when we're over. Maybe we can squeeze him in. I just says, well, I just need like 2 months' notice.
Yeah.
And then we can get it on. Oh God, I'm trying to think. People just phone me and say, "Can you get him?" And I'll just try and make contact with them. So and then go from there. But I'm not really. I don't. Nobody I would want that would stick out to me saying, "Oh, I really, really want him." Obviously, apart from the obvious Steven Gerrard and people like that who you're never going to get.
Yeah.
But somebody from that he's doing it. No, not really. I don't think there is anybody that.
And let's give a shout out to your promotion teams. You use EA Promotions,
EA Promotions,
and VIP Volcanoes as well. They're a part of your.
Lads. I've got a good team. To be fair, behind me. Obviously, there's obviously me, and then you've got Ben Hunt, who's the photographer, who's brilliant, really good photographer.
Because you're taking photos now of when the meet and greet. Yeah,
and they're going really well because obviously, like the 96 lads. People have the photos, and then after they were signing them.
Sure.
Perfect. You're not going to get them again. You know what I mean? So,
so is it like a big, massive Kodak thing? Because we used to have the Polaroid, didn't we?
Yeah, it's basically like that. It's basically like that. So they'll take it, and then after the meet and greet, then you've got my lad Callum, who's he goes round and gives everybody.
Is he still waiting for you to die?
Yeah, he's still waiting for me to die. Great story that is. He was actually mentioned that today to someone. Oh, wow.
Kids, ain't it?
Unbelievable, mate.
Kids.
Unbelievable. But yeah, and then I've got my door staff who are brilliant. My Jake, my DJ. Yeah, so I've got a team of that work every single night. So there's me, Callum, Ben, the photographer, Jake, and the 2 doormen. And then obviously Tom Ross does most of my events.
And finally, the charity stuff. You always do charity auctions, don't you? So charity. What charities do you use, or do you just with venues or different players? They've got charities.
Yeah,
do you work
I'll ask
within
the
those?
players,
Yeah, sure.
And most of them turn around and say it's up to you.
Yeah.
So Birmingham Children's Hospital's the main one.
Yeah.
We've obviously, I think I've mentioned it before. We've got a red balloon as you go in because we had me and my friend Neil, who used to do SW events with me. We raised something like 27,000. So we was like 96th It was in the top 100.
Yeah.
So we got invited to the awards day. So we've got a red balloon on the wall. And then we've got a charity. Ben Hunt, the photographer, he's got a charity he always uses, Smiling Families.
Okay.
Who they're trying to raise, I think it's £10,000 for a retreat to build a lodge. So families, when they're struggling, they can second there and they can, spend the day as a family just enjoying themselves. So we're working with them, and I've got to mention it, on August the 18th, we've got a charity golf day. Yes. So we're looking for people to come and join that, and you've got 12 former Premier League players that are playing in it. So I'll run through them. So you've got Mark Draper, I might miss a few, Matty Elliott, Muzzy is it.
Yeah, Muzzy's a good lad.
Jerry Taggart, who's the others? Villa, Julian Joachim, Brian Little.
Bit of a Leicester theme as well there.
Yeah, there's Leicester. It's Leicester and Villa, and then you've got Harford, Coton, and Tommy Mooney are coming down. They play. So
you trust in Mick with a golf club?
I'm not going to get there. I'll be his caddy. I'll look after him. I'll drive you, mate. So we're looking for. It's £150 to play. It'll be a 4-ball. So you'll have 3 lads, and then you'll have one of the ex-pros playing with you. All money goes to charity. For that 150, you get to play. You get the Q&A night on the evening with all 12. Sign whatever you want, and then spectators. It's £10. Come and watch. Stay the day. That's £10. It's all day, and you get entry to the Q&A night.
Fantastic. What golf course is it at?
It's at the Windmill. On
Coventry, isn't it?
Coventry, on the way to Coventry. Yeah, it's on the Windmill. And then we are also. It's £50 if you want to be their caddies. So you take them round, with them, and then they'll sign whatever you want, walking around of photos. So just trying to get that. So I'm going to start blasting that out and get that advertised and get it out there. So if anybody's interested, drop me a message.
And that's August, so it's not that far away, is it?
And it's going to be a lovely day.
Fantastic. Let's hope it is. It's been a wonderful evening. Thank you for your time,
Cheers,
sir.
Mate.
And may love travel with you.
Did that record?
Oh, damn.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, thank you. And thanks for listening and watching, guys. God bless.